So our new perk system actually integrates into a modified version of the Pick 10 system from Black Ops 2. And what we've done basically is perks now, instead of just picking 3 perks from different categories, you have a large number of perks available in a giant sort of single category, and each of those perks has a point value, 1 through 5, and you have 8 perk slots that you can fill with those perks. So if I pick 4 2-point perks, I'll get 4 perks. I could actually have 8 1-point perks. Now, the way the Pick 10 part of that comes into play is if I decide to get rid of my secondary weapon, I can now have 9 perk points. Or if I get rid of my tactical and my grenade, I can then have 10 and 11 points. So I could also, instead of 8, I could take 7 perks and have an extra tactical or an extra grenade, or a primary weapon for my secondary. So it works the same way in a similar fashion, but more about the perk system rather than attachments and stuff. So attachments and kill streaks are free from a Pick 10 system, and then the perk system itself becomes sort of your driving customization for our new Create a Soldier, and we're really really excited about the way it adds a really more strategy to how you're going to create your class, because there's so many options as far as perks are concerned, not just the number, but in how you can sort of put them together. And then you add on top of that the Pick 10 system, allowing you to manage more, get more points into your perks. So really excited about what kind of things players do with that.
It ain't over till I say it's over. Enough when I say enough. Throw me to them wolves and close the gate up. I'm afraid of what'll happen to them wolves. When the thought of being thrown into an alligator pit, I salivated it. Ladies up, hands up like it's 12 noon. Nah, homie, hold them bitches straight up. Wait until you dislocate a rotator.
So squad mode is something we introduced just recently, last week, at the MP Reveal event. And it's basically a new mode that combines a part of multiplayer, which was the idea of creating a squad of soldiers. So instead of just creating 1 soldier, we're actually allowing you to create 10 soldiers, and then it takes a whole new AI system that we've created that actually mimics player behavior. So you have AI in the game acting and running around the way an actual player would play. So they'll drop shot, they'll jump shot, they'll corner camp, they'll act like a real player. And we took those two components and brought them together into a whole set of modes. So it's actually not one mode; it's a couple of modes or a group of modes. We have a sort of just a simple mode called War Game that allows you and some friends, up to 5 friends, so 6 players total, play against AI on multiplayer maps, playing multiplayer modes. So everything that's in multiplayer is available, and then you could go in with just by yourself with your squad. Then we have a mode that's a 1v1 type situation where it might be me and my squad against you and your squad that you've created. And then we have another mode called Safeguard, which is a new 4-player co-op based on the survival mode from MW3. And then the last mode is called Squad Assault, and that one is basically a really interesting asynchronous offline kind of thing, where let's say I create a squad and I decide I want to have them defend a certain map and defend on a certain mode. Then let's say you go and challenge my squad while I'm at work or offline, and you'll fight my squad on the map that I chose and on the mode that I chose. And if my squad does well, I'll actually gain some XP for my guys offline. The cool thing is all your play, everything that you're doing within squads, will actually benefit you in multiplayer. So it's the same characters, the same player. It's not like you're not leveling two different characters. There's one character that you're leveling between both modes. So this XP and unlocks that I earn in playing squads transfer over to everything I'm doing in multiplayer, and vice versa. When you create your squad and you have 10 squad members, you can level them you have to level them individually. So I might have the third guy that I ever created is my highest level guy, and number 7 is the second highest level guy, and they have I've unlocked different things. So I've spent my unlock points on different stuff for this guy than this guy, so they have different loadouts. They also can be visually look different, so each one has its own visual look. You can name them. So and then that becomes your squad, and then you'll pick from that 10, you'll pick a group of them to be your sort of default squad. No, you can't give orders to them within the game. What we've done is, instead of having you sort of get out of the gameplay for a minute to try to give orders, our game's a little bit too fast and frantic for that. What we did is we worked into the AI sort of behavior patterns. So depending on what equipment and what gear they have, they'll act differently. And so a big part of the strategy of creating your squad for different modes is choosing the right loadouts and the right equipment for those members. So for instance, let's say you're going to play on a small map. If I gave all my squad members sniper rifles, they're probably not going to do too well. But if I gave them a mixed loadout of, let's say, 2 SMG guys, 1 sniper, an assault rifle guy, and an LMG guy, now I'm creating a squad that actually can perform really well on that map. So Blitz is a new mode that basically is really simple to describe. You have a defending point and an attacking point, and what happens is you run to the attacking point, and when you go through the portal, you teleport back to your side of the map, and that is a score. So simply put, that's an easy mode to understand. Go and score. But the cool thing about this new mode is, and a lot of the pro players that we've had playing over the last few days are really excited about, is that there's a lot more strategy to that. There's a whole defense setup, using the map and using the terrain more wisely, sneaking around a bit to try to get into to try to score. So it's one of those modes that I think people are finding that it's easy to understand but hard to master. I actually really like search and rescue. It's a slower mode. It's not as high paced as Cranked and Blitz. There's a lot of strategy that can happen in a great way, where a clutch player can make a massive difference in the game. So for instance, I was playing in one game where one team got basically decimated. They got 4 of their 5 guys were killed, and in search and rescue, when you die, your tag drops and you're out of the game until someone picks up your tag. So what happened was, it was down to 1 player on one side, and he still had 3 or 4, I think it said 4 of his ally tags were still available for him to pick up, and the other team was basically had lost 1 guy, and he was able to kill off 2 of the other team and then collect all of his tags, and all of a sudden the shift of the team that only had 1 guy now had a full team, and the other team was down to 2 players, and they were able to win. So it was really great. It's a really great mode for highly skilled thinking players, I think.
Wasn't ready to be no millionaire. I was ill prepared. I was prepared to be ill though. The skill was there. In the beginning, it wasn't about the ends. It was about busting raps and standing for something. Fucking acronym. Cut the fucking act like you're happy. I'm fucking back again with another anthem. Why stop when it doesn't have to end?
So dynamic maps were a new feature that we added that started as sort of a big event on every map. So every map was going to have a big event. The problem with that we felt is it was going to be a little too the same every time. It was going to be kind of monotonous. Every map does the same thing every time. So what we wanted to do and what we wanted to focus on was more variety. What we've done is every map has sort of a unique experience. And they can be very different. Some are destruction based, and some are sort of player driven movement path changing events. So as examples, here's an example of a massive level changing event is the map Strike Zone that we're showing off here at Gamescom. If a player obtains a field order care package, they'll be able to destroy the map. And the whole entire map will get obliterated, and you'll be playing for the rest of the game on this new destroyed version of that same map. We have another map that isn't player controlled but has that same sort of mass environment change, and that one basically is a building that's fallen over on its side and it's sliding down between two buildings as you play, and it's basically, and so as it's sliding and moving, there's objects that are falling into the space, and walls that are falling over, and so the routes and the paths and the sight lines and the cover is all changing dynamically as the map falls to the ground. And then we have other ones that is more just destruction kind of stuff. So the map Octane that we're showing off, you can blow up the gas station, and that will actually create a new cover area that changes the way the middle of the map will play. So the middle of the map then now has a massive amount of cover on one side that it didn't have before, and so the flow of the middle becomes different. And on the same map, we have areas that you can blow out pieces of cover. So you're creating new sight lines and creating new sort of areas for the player to look and view. Then we have some other stuff that's actually a little bit more simple but more gameplay oriented. So there's maps that have a bunch of sort of paths to, say, the B flag area, if you're playing domination, that you can open and close. So I might, shut some doors on this section, and or open a door over here and shut a door over here, giving me better control over the B flag. There's stuff you can push out of the way and move around. So it's very, a lot of it's very player driven. Some of it seems small in scale, but really adds a lot to the gameplay. And then some of it is, sort of big cinematic single player type experiences that are mass events that really enhance the sort of flavor of those maps. Sure. Well, the thing we wanted to do with Call of Duty Ghosts from a single player standpoint is create a new world and a new story and new characters to think about. And so this is not a continuation of Modern Warfare. It's a different universe from Modern Warfare. And some of our sort of pillars for the game were create a story that you really care about the characters. So we don't switch between characters throughout the story like we have in the past Call of Duties. We stick with one character throughout the story. We also add a family element, and your brother is in the squad with you, so that adds some more complexity to your story, and you care more about the characters. We also wanted to create a new world, a changed world for the characters to exist in. So, we have this basically in the beginning of the game, during the prologue, we have a mass event that comes and changes the landscape of the world as we know it. And America basically becomes destroyed for the most part, and they're no longer a superpower. They're basically sort of struggling for survival against a new superpower from the south. And that basically, this new world then shapes you as a player and the characters in the game that like your brother. So it's a really hoping people really enjoy the story element of it, and some of the really great new locations that we're going to send you. I definitely think there's a possibility that Ghosts will become a series. We're working on a story that may can't say talk about it too much, but may work well as with a sequel or a sequel from that, another trilogy, I should say. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We haven't started working on anything like that yet. Obviously, we're still finishing Ghost, but I'm very hopeful that we'll see a Ghost 1 and 3, a Ghost 2 and 3 in the future.